Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vasundhara, and on behalf of Shine.com, I welcome all of you to Shine Power Perspectives today. Shine Power Perspectives is a first of its kind virtual debate series on issues that matter to the HR community. Top HR leaders will share their views with the audience about various trending HR topics in a rapid fire mode, which will be for or against the topics. Now, what's a difference? So, it's you, our audience, who will be deciding the topic. To make this event experience exceptionally interactive for you, we are also introducing a new segment which is called Mystery Topic. This will let our audience choose a topic of their choice for the speakers via poll conducted live at the event. Not only this, you will also get a chance to interact with the speakers on every issue with a short Q&A. Now, I would like to introduce our panelists today. Ms. Savita Nehra, Associate Vice President HR at Nest Digital Engineering. Ms. Surabhi Nikumba, AVP HR at Jeske Devrient. Ms. Neetu Singh, Global Head Talent Acquisition and Development at FARAI. Mr. Charanjeevi Gandham, Director HR BP at Huawei Technologies India. It's an honor to have you here as a panelist. Now, I would like to introduce our first topic for the debate, and each speaker will be getting 2 or 3 minutes to each their views on the topic, either for or against. Audience can keep asking questions in a Q&A option, and our speakers will respond to it shortly. So the first topic is 4 days working, 5 days, 4 days working versus 5 days working. So we will begin with Ms. Neetu Singh.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Vasundhara. And thank you, everyone, for joining the call today. Uh, I picked up 5 days, reason being a kind of a growing organization where I'm part of and managing the human resource for that. We are in a business phase, where we have a lot of changes coming in on a day-to-day basis. So rather turning it into 4 days, I prefer it to keep it 5 days, because, then you can keep giving the employees, various kind of a guidelines, guidance, and, supporting them what is really going on. So it helps them, to stay aligned with you on the entire stuff, rather thinking in isolation and managing things on their own. So that's my thought to start with.
Ms. Savita.
So, Vasundhara, good afternoon, and good afternoon all. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. I have chosen, and this is purely my personal one, saying as a 4 day, right? The reason why 4 day, initially, I think till last year, everyone was very reluctant and saying, work from home, we can't do it. The organization or the manager used to crib to even give you 1 day work from home. Look where we are. We all are working from home, right? The industry, the organization, everyone adapted. Now, currently, the way things are going, employees are already working, enough of productivity is happening, 12 hours, 14 hours. Well, this is minimum for all of us. And I think we are here on the call who are doing that contribution. So what my recommendation, or I say, is personally that going the way we are going in the organizations or the culture or the hybrid model we are working, I see 4 days coming not long ago, not shortly, the organization will start adopting, because we're already getting into permanent work from home for many organizations. This is just a culture change. It's just that how we accept. And many of the world global companies, organizations, that they have 27 hours, and 4 days does not mean that you will work 40 hours, though India norm says that we should look at 40 hours of working in the 4 days.
48.
So 48 hours in 4 days. So that's interesting one, how we as leaders or organization or our labor industry or the ministers, how we decide. But I think that's the way we are going to go. It's a matter of time. And that's my take. Thank you, Vasundhara.
Ms. Surabhi, which one would you like to go with?
So first of all, good afternoon, everyone, my co-panelist and the audience on the other side. I'll go with 5 days. A couple of reasons behind it. I mean, 4 days, of course, sounds very attractive. And there are a lot of companies in the new age, starting with countries like Finland, who have introduced this on an experimental basis. We read in the papers a few days back, Japan is also introducing it. Microsoft in Japan introduced it already, and they saw a rise in productivity. But I have a few paradigms attached to it. One, like Savita rightly mentioned, are there the 48 hours week? Is the government going to change the guideline around it? Because I spread my days accordingly. A 5 day working week is there, and I spread my day, I spread my hours accordingly. Of course, these days it has gone beyond 8 hours, 10 hours. That's I'm hoping and I'm praying it's a temporary phase, and we all come back to normalcy very soon. But spreading it across 5 days give me a chance to look at my work life. I am a working mother. I have kids to attend to. 4 days, 48 hours, 12 days. I don't think a lot of people, I mean, I'm just giving my example, but there are a lot of others, male, female, parents, partners who have to adjust to this stretched work week hours. So that's where I see a 5 day week giving me more of a chance to manage my life, manage my stress, and manage my work in a more productive way. I'll be happy for a 4 day work week, but it should be backed up with a government support, with a legal support, and then it becomes effective. Also, from a managerial support. Are we training our leaders, our managers to adapt that mindset? Okay, 4 day is a working week. Fifth day, then it's actually a off for that person. From a customer side, is it actually the customer who is ready to let go of that person saying that, okay, I'll not call that because that's a 4 day week and today is the fifth day? So we all need to look at those angles and then adopt the best practice. That's it.
Mr. Chiranjeevi.
Okay, that leaves me. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I think Savita is alone batting for 4 day. Probably, I don't know. So yeah, so I prepared myself to defend the 5 day week. Largely because I feel as a nation, I'll talk in the perspective of India as a nation, India as an industry, not just IT, but there are several industries. So we are not ready yet. That is what I feel. We are still struggling to figure out this 5 days itself, which extend beyond 8 hours. At least in the private IT industry, we say it is a 40-hour week, but it is never so. So, and already with 5 days itself, people are stressing out. Maybe that is the reason why one would bat for a 4 day week. But what would happen is, when you crunch, if you think from a corporate point of view, corporates which primarily exist for profit, I do not think they are going to reduce the number of work hours. So I think before we move to that 4 day week, probably it might be welcome in the future. But currently, we need to figure out, how we balance this 5 day week itself in a very meaningful way, so that people are able to log out at the right time. Savita also rightly mentioned, during this work from home, where hours are extending into late into the night, close to midnight, maybe, right? So that has to be sorted out first before we really talk about a 4 day week right now, at least in our country. And not only that, 4 day week or 5 day week, most of the government organizations in India still work 6 day. The reason being, as all working professionals, we want that Saturday to go and pay our property tax or water bill or electricity bill. That is why we want the government to be available, right, on 6 days or maybe 7 days. We want Amazon deliveries to come next day. So when all these things, our own expectations are not matching with, what we want for ourselves, right? So I guess 5 day week should stay for some more time, maybe for a longer time before we really talk about the 4 day. So any counterpoints? Yeah, Savita.
So, do you think that this decision of 4 days working or 5 days working will also be dependent on industry-wise approach? Because see, it can be relevant. 4 days working can be relevant for few industries, but for few industries, it is not very relevant. So, what are your views on this, Ms. Savita?
I'll add
Maybe
one.
we should start.
Sure.
Yeah. No, you, Ms. Neetu, you can continue.
Thanks, Vasundhara. I was just adding to that point, where I started in the beginning, why 5 days. Again, adding to all the facilitators here, we are all agreeing that, we are not ready yet. but most of us, Savita, I believe, we need debate. So, definitely your points is certainly very, very important. Coming to the industry and the kind of work we are in, for example, FARI, we are a fast growing organization, expanding globally, managing a lot of new customers, also inducting new joinees in the organization. So keeping it to 4 days, certainly it is going to restrict our move and align us better. So in that context, if I say, an organization which is growing fast, which is an IT organization, inducting all the people together and to call it like a team and providing the required services which is expected, then certainly it needs a lot of collaboration and a lot of brainstorming together. So keeping a cut of 3 days and then coming back, will create a space, a gap. At the same time, I'm not saying that, we are just keeping business in mind, while keeping our people in mind also, me as an employee, if I see myself as an employee, I need a lot of personal space during my day also. It's not that, on Saturday, Sunday, I'll only to cook and take care of my kids and all other stuff. I'll do it on the other days also. So for that matter, I need my manager and my team members to prioritize things with me, and stay aligned so that I know how I'm spending my stuff, and then is ensuring the, the outcome as a team, whatever we want to achieve towards a week, at least, if we see as a week of 5 days.
Ms. Savita, would you like to add on?
Yeah, why not? So that's why I said initially that this is my view. I didn't say that this is going to be in my organization view. But yes, looking at the points which you mentioned, yes, we as an organization, we as an India, or we as a country, or our legal systems or our laws, we are not yet there. We're quite far from where we want to be. But somewhere I feel that I know the 3 days, 4 days working, when you look at the other countries where you have like Microsoft Japan, which did their experiment, or you look at your other Netherlands or other of the European countries mostly, it is working fine because the employees and the managers and the culture of the whole nations, they adapt very quickly. For us to change is taking a little time, right? Because if I am saying that we want to make it as 4 day, my client will get up and say, hey, come on, what are you doing? How can I live without them for next 2 days or next 3 days, right? When earlier the same client said, I can't live without them without coming to office, right? So it takes time. I'm not saying that we are all ready to change yet, but knowing the current scenario, knowing the way our generations, knowing the technology, it is coming, your automations and AIs and whatnot, right? It is all getting that. So do you really need that many hours? Now, problem with India or we as an a country is 48 hours is something which is still defined. We are not saying that we will change 4 days and we'll bring it 27 or 30. And that way, we, India being the major cost center, there's no way we're going to change that, right? So I think that that's something which will happen, but 4 days working and 3 days off, we all have our space more with our family. But our managers, whether they will give us space, whether your employee, whether your own colleagues or whether your own clients will let you get space, it is a little far. But I would still see that we will have that someday. I'm very hopeful.
Yeah, so not sure how come we are going to cope up our work in 4 days working model, but yeah, really happy to know that we will soon be having 3 days week off.
See, Vasanta, I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
knowing currently all of us are, and it's not a hidden fact, productivity is gone, I think 48%, something that gets quoted, right, which has gone high. And it's not that people are saying that, oh, no, my clients are not happy about these hours. They're happy, but how many of us are charging for those extra hours? Are we?
Yeah.
Are you charging to your client for those 12 hours just because you're saving 2 hours of traveling and 2 hours of coming back? Are we not? We are not able to go back and charge to our clients. The day we start doing that, our work-life balance of 9 to 5, or those 8 hours or 9 hours of working, that will fall in place. So currently that culture of asking because of the additional amount, it's still far away. Over to you, sorry.
Agree. Ms. Surabhi, anything you would like to add on this?
I think not much to add. I think it has been all well said. It all depends on the industry. Like Chiranjeevi said, we expect the hospitals and the banks and the government agencies to be open to cater to us across the weekend. So how do we manage that huge chunk of the population? I belong to this industry. It's GSEC plus DevRent. We are into currency technology machines. Our people are always at the bank, be it RBI, the SBI, the HDFCs, casinos of the world. We manage their entire currency inflow and outflow. So, I mean, our people are in casinos on a Sunday managing the entire cash flow, right? They're in RBI is managing everything and anything. So all that is happening. Of course, we need. I mean, it's a best practice. I look to the West once again to see how the model is being adapted, and we follow the best practices to them, depending and adapting to our industry to our needs.
So your thoughts
from my side.
Yeah, to the point which I think there was a question by Bala also saying that the manufacturing sector should probably work 6 days a week. That's what the opinion there. So we probably right, depending on the industry, we look at currently we as a developing nation where if you have to increase our productivity. Where the skills are still low, right? Let's say we have highly skilled people where everybody is skilled, notionally speaking. Then probably we'll have more employment and less number of working days, so that everybody is contributing. Probably that is the way to go. But today, if you take sectors like manufacturing or even services, also where there's a lot of dependency, rather customer demand is very high on serviceability. So the availability of customer service, or production being very high is definitely need of the hour, at least until we build the skills of the organization. I think that's the next topic. So we need to build those skills where we have a large pool of people with those skills. Then obviously, maybe we can have shift systems also, right? Where, hypothetically speaking, let's say we have a 4-day week. I know some people work from Monday to Thursday. The next batch might work from Friday to Monday, something like that, right? So something like that can be worked out. But do we have those many people who can, replace, and also are corporates ready to employ so many people, right? They essentially have to increase their headcount. So I think a lot depends upon the skills which are available out there. But yes, 4-day sounds excellent. But maybe if some sectors, Vasundhara's original question was, there could be some sectors which might adopt to this, like few companies. Even when you quote examples of Microsoft in Japan, but Microsoft has not done that in other countries, right? So it's only very, very few examples are out there. Even in Finland, we'll see only very few companies. But what I will again reiterate my original point, where we need to sort out our 5-day week itself, where we are. Then we can talk about the 4-day.
Thank you, and I hope that sir's thoughts also answered question by Bala Maha. So there is one more question from Ananya Banik. The question is, when is this pandemic organizations are striving and encouraging employees to work on all days of a week? Would all industries accept this change from 5 days to 5 days to 4 days? Again, I think this is something that we just discussed, but if anybody would like to add on anything.
Yeah, Vasundhara, I just want to add one element here. I think all the aspects were covered, but just one element, that how you organize your week, be it 4 days, 3 days, or 5 days. I don't know how we'll go in future, and we come up with different innovative ways of working. So if, let's say, we are saying 5 days, and we say that 4 days you want to be active, then probably one day could be to myself, no meeting day. So that allows me to prioritize my things and plan and keep more personal space. But again, it will take time. Like it is very clearly said, government sector 6 days. Even in pandemic, a lot of people were coming to offices because of their nature of work. On the same lines, if we're saying be it any sector, if we see it across, how we can really manage and organize things, because ultimately it's the human who's working, and we have all family situations, and all circumstances of the business also. So probably, other ways also, maybe, I put this back to the panel also, that, how we would like to see we organizing ourselves better. For example, one thought had been coming to my mind, and I've been discussing that in my groups also internally in the organization, that, can't we just keep one day as a meeting free day? So going back to you. Yeah.
I just wanted to make one point regarding the 5-day part. Even before we talk about 4-day, when I say 5-day, if you look at Europe, right, we all know that Europe works not 40 hours, they actually have 5 days a week, but they kind of work 32 hours or something like that. And that is something which is regulatory, right? This is not like corporates are enforcing it. So for this step to happen, this has to be probably a regulatory measure rather than corporates taking the call.
And just to add on that same point, when you said Fridays, right? Usually they say, and you see your clients, right? Whether they're in Europe or in US or anywhere. Fridays means they try not to have too many meetings. They keep it very light, and they want to log off early. But are we doing the same? So even in our organization, in fact, I started pushing my team and my leaders. I said, unless you say that there's no meeting day on Friday, the culture would not go down, because unless we start doing it, that, I want 1 to 2 o'clock as a lunch time and nobody blocks my calendar just because I am at home, that's the way the things will happen. And I think that's the way slowly the things are changing. In fact, Friday, we were trying to say half a day, would you contribute to yourself on your own learning? Right. So I think, we get this.
Nothing much to add from my side. I think it's all said there, except I think I know with the pandemic, it's becoming like a 7-day week. But as an HR fraternity, as a leadership fraternity, probably we need to bring the culture change, because we have seen enough damages which is happening right now. People having a mental breakdown, people are really stressed out. So the whole fascination about work from home, I think it's kind of dipping down gradually now, right now. People were obsessed about work from home, but it's I don't, at least I see a lot of young guys, kids around me. I mean, we hire fresh from the campus. We hire a lot of fresh technology grads and MBA grads. They really want to come back to normalcy very soon.
Okay, so let's move to the next topic for today's discussion. The second topic is experience versus skills, which will be given more importance while hiring in future. And here we go for a debate with our panel. Attendees can still post questions in Q&A option. So we will start with your inputs.
Okay, should I start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So interesting debate. It's always been a question, when we are hiring and making any decisions inside the organization. But if I put today's context, that's basically the virtual environment and uncertain time, I would certainly go for skills, because this is something which helps you build the insights, which helps you build the context, and then applying a person into it. So what we call an experience was different kind of environment and situations we were in, and then we had led those things and have achieved something. But if I talk to a product manager, for how he's going to think and plan a product roadmap and execute it, his reality is very different. He cannot explain things on the go. He needs to really devise different mechanism of how to explain it, collaborate it, bring everybody together towards a solution or what they're trying to achieve together. So definitely skills is something which I would like to go for. Open for others' thoughts.
So I'll jump in here and I will also go with skills are more important these days, especially because there's a lot of micro learning which is happening. Everybody and we are, as a nation, we are a very young population where a lot of I coming from an IT background. So you have a lot of engineers building new skills. They are ready. They are hungry for knowledge. So they are definitely ready with the skills which are required. Even though lot of studies say that, our degree, we're just giving out degrees, but they are not industry ready. But nonetheless, in a few years' time, I feel, with the kind of startup ecosystem which we have today, especially what has happened in the startup space in the last 5 to 10 years, it is tremendous, right? Then the growth, and all by young people, and who do not have a lot of skills. I think Flipkart was also started, to give an example, somebody with less than 5-6 years experience at that time, or maybe less than 10 years experience, right? So it is not experience today in today's context is kind of passe. I mean, we even in our organization we look at skills. That is very, very important. We are hiring them at very senior positions. If they bring in the right skills, there's absolutely no problem how many number of years they have. It really doesn't matter. Skills, when you say, it is not only technology skills, we also need to focus on the soft skills also. Right, how their communication is, how whether they can adapt to our culture. So these are all very important aspects when we are hiring somebody for skills. So experience does matter. There is no doubt. People have they bring their own strength, but especially in the IT sector, where technology is changing, every few years, and the people who are really adept at acquiring new skills, they are the ones who companies have to look at.
Ms. Savita want to add something?
No, I said this time I am in for it, and I support that. It's skill for sure, right? The way the technology, and I think Neetu and Chiranjeevi has covered it very well. And I know Surabhi will also go for skill unless you have different. But then that's the way we as an industry are moving in, right? The technology is so fast. In fact, nowadays it's the competencies of those employees, which we are hiring. Sorry, Surabhi, you were trying to add something.
Was trying to add both the parties. I mean, I have a question. When, God forbid, if somebody has to go for a surgery, will we look at somebody who has just passed from a medical college, or will we go for a doctor who is having 15, 20 years of experience? If I'm flying.
Good point.
Very good point.
Good point. That is the reason the IT example is very much
IT
valid,
right?
Where the technology is changing, the skills required is changing. Probably skills are more important. But where, let us say, in industry where the same skill, because and in the doctors also, a cardiologist is operating on the same heart, heart forever, right? So unless the heart changes, which doesn't probably, right? So so we need more experience there. You're right. It is industry.
I've been in this medical industry for good 12, 13 years. The technology is changing. Like 15 years back, probably the way a surgery was happening has changed. Doctor is also technologically adapting to use a robotic arm to do a better surgery, right? So they are also learning. But will I go for a skill there, or will I go for somebody who is actually doing a precision robotic surgery, or a doctor who has done thousands of surgeries and I'm safe in the person's hands, right? So that's a classic debate I have. Of course, skill is very important. I'm myself a Gallup coach, and I see I'm a Gallup strength coach, and I really see when I look at the strengths of the person and the way they perform and the way their strengths transform or translate into the kind of work they're supposed to do. So there's a very good correlation, and I'm talking about a soft skill here. I mean, technology, of course, you all have spoken to how it's changing, how we need to adapt, but we need to strike a proper balance when we are hiring a skill. Just not technology. Let's also look at the softer aspects when we are hiring. Are our hiring, like I think Savita, you asked, are our hiring managers even trained to look at those angles? And experience brings its own expertise. I mean, we have seen in various examples when I'm hiring, let's say into a manufacturing setup and I need a plant head. So somebody who has an experience there. I know most of us are from a technology background, but technology, IT industry consists 30% of the economy or the overall industry. So what about the rest 70%? Where we need repetition. Even in IT, if I look at architects, right, we need these solution architects, enterprise architects to have 15, 20, 30 years of experience. And even as a new technology person, I go to these architects to learn and develop my tool and develop my product. So experience has its own benefit, and an ideal combination is what I'm looking at.
So, along with experience, it seems reskilling and upskilling is very much required. So, there is a question by again Ananya Banik. What would take precedence in hiring? Experience and skills in one hand versus education qualification in another?
Like I said, I mean, since I was talking to the last, I'll just add on. I'll look at a balance of it. I mean, depends on the job, but I'll of course look at a good balance of what is the skill set I'm looking at. Does the person bring that to the table? And if it is a job which requires an experience, it requires, because experience, why am I looking at an experience? Because experience also helps a person to make a decision basis their past history, basis their past learning. That is also equally important. So I will not completely do away with experience, but look at both the angles there.
Any other panelist would like to add on something?
I think Ananya was also talking about educational qualifications. Yeah, I think they, yeah, like Surabhi said, there's no doubt, depending upon where you are, probably in IT, in the IT world where we are, we are again a R&D center. So definitely we are giving a lot of priority to experience. And sorry, to skills. Experience matters, obviously. That is how you build skills also, but primarily skills are more looked at more and more, because who has these latest technology skills? And somebody with a lot of experience might not have those skills. But again, education qualifications are also very, very important. We definitely are looking at hiring from premier institutes and with relevant skills. Many years back, 20, 30 years back, when I started my career, in the IT industry was hiring an engineer with any engineering background, right? So, but today, my organization and some of the organizations I know, they are very more particular now that people come from these institutes, people come from certain computer science background. That is becoming more relevant because of the kind of changes which technology sector is seeing, where we need a lot of innovations to happen very few years, right? So it is not the products are not stable. We are coming up with new things, so so it has become very much more competitive these days. So that is the reason why education qualifications, skills and experience, I would say in that order. Skills and education qualification are definitely more important.
So I certainly want to add to Chiranjeevi's and Surabhi's point, bringing one aspect on Ananya's question actually, where she has mentioned skills versus skills and experience versus the fresh graduate. So I'm picking up as a fresher that thing. In my experience, I'm seeing that there are certain skills which has become very difficult to hire and retain. So in those scenarios, if I bring that question in this context, then certainly it is very, very important that you pick up the freshers where they don't have anything except that they have that orientation and the basic qualification, train them and groom them towards the second category, which we are looking at. So that's just bringing in today's context, what's really happening in the market.
But again, here on your point, Nitu, I'm looking at the experience or getting on those freshers, if you all know. Though we hire and get them trained on a particular skill, which we think they would, the moment they complete the training, and this is where the fresher needs to understand that this is just a stepping stone of their life, right?
Yes.
They don't want to go, and if you don't want to put them in a development project, they don't want to explore on that. development is every do or die, and it has to be a high end, skill part of it, or technology project. That's where the whole essence is, right? And they jump, they really jump out. Just to like, so somewhere we need to get them to educate enough. Still, I guess it's still a long way for them to understand. They are the fast decision makers.
Okay, so there is one more question from Balamaha. My question relates to engineering or manufacturing or core engineering sector. My opinion is we need combo of engineering skills, IT skills, soft skills, and managerial skills. Any person having relevant domain experience in years your take. So, any inputs?
Yeah, I would say yes. All skills are definitely required to do today's job. There should be a combo, and then while we hire, we definitely look at these skills, not only the technical skills, but also whether they have relevant communication skills, whether they culture fitment, whether he will be a team player. So these are definitely we look at. So I would say yes, there should be a balance of those.
Okay, so we will quickly take another question from Sheetal Seriwala. What should be more important, skills or experience? Because once we have skills, so we can do anything from that, and experience comes when we do something like particular on that work. It can be, say, 1.5 month, year two. So please tell what should be more important. Can you please elaborate? Anybody who would like to answer?
So I think, like I said, skills depends on the industry. Like most of us said that a lot of startups are coming into phase, and that has given this industry a wing to explore various facets. I mean, we see fresh grads out of technology colleges, out of management colleges, setting up their setups and doing really well. So this is a skill. I mean, they have the ability to take a risk, they have ability to understand business, use technology, leverage technology to make money, sell their stakes. So that's a skill they have, and they have learned it as well, right? So they've learned these new things, like maybe a new technology or a business part, acumen part of it. So all that is skill set, right? And it's very important. But when like, the same setup, the same startup person goes and hires a team, they also look at experience, right? They want to set up an operations team to manage their entire delivery network. They look at somebody who has experience in the industry. They look at a CTO who has experience in the same technology. So it's a combination, Sheetal. And my only piece of advice to all of us would be that we keep on learning. I mean, that's how you don't fade away from the industry. You adapt to the technology, and keep yourself, what do you call, in the news, in the light always.
Okay, so now let's move to the mystery topic. I will be launching the poll. Would request everyone to please vote. We will wait here for 1 minute to collect all the votes. Our panelists can also vote for the topic.
Okay.
I would urge everyone in the audience to please vote. We have got 50% responses for voting, requesting everyone to please vote for the mystery topic you want our speakers to debate on. Okay, so now we will be making it live with results. So, does remote working increase productivity? Has got the highest votes. So, our panelist, over to you for the debate.
So I think we covered this initially as well, and I think yes, it does, right? It increases productivity with a cost of around 48% of all, in the industry, which has been posted, saying that the productivity has increased. That's what I would say. It is definitely. There's no second part about it, and that's why I brought in earlier. If our productivity is increasing, employee is contributing that many hours, are we billing our client for those many hours, right? So that's the other question which I was trying to bring in. The employees are going beyond the working hours as well. So that's from my end.
Others, please add your inputs.
So, yes, I agree with Savita that it is increasing productivity. But again, what we have seen, it is just still a short span because everybody is in expectation that we are going to come back. So I would say we still have to discover that. But probably what would definitely work in increasing the productivity is a hybrid kind of a model where you are giving an option to employees to work from wherever they want, but at the same time they're also interacting with their employees. As interaction with your fellow colleagues also helps in building the skills and staying in touch with. In person is completely. But I feel if remote working has increased, I don't know the numbers. Savita said 48%, but I would say if that is the number, if I have to take, then a mix will increase the productivity by 60%. I'm just throwing a number.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Absolutely. I think, yeah, Neetu, please go ahead.
Okay, I was just adding to Savita and Charanjeevi's point. Interesting topic once again. A lot of think through is going on around this thing as well. I would just add one more aspect to it that, while we all are working from home and talking about productivity increase, we all are missing those elements of being in office, having the conversations, having the fun sessions with each other or building a bond as a team, feeling you that you're part of a place, so that's what is missing these days when we all are working from home. I have my husband, my son, and only the home environment. The moment I switch the flap, so that's something which is, and then I'm talking to the global teams. So it's completely, you need to, what I feel, and I have sensed that, it is hindering creativity and innovative thinking in a certain way, because you're just confined in a place, in a closed environment. It's like a big boss house, we're just confined with certain resources and a clear setup is given. So, in some sense, a hybrid thing probably is going to evolve, because again, if you come back to normal in future, we all will see that we have ended up in making so many things which is going to stop us to become again 100% in office, because we have ended up hiring so many people in so many locations, and most of the people who were there have shifted to their hometowns. They're settling in certain environments. So yes, on and off they can come to office, but 100% coming back to office will certainly be a question mark in future. So I would say that productivity, work from home, yes, it is increasing because it is reducing your other aspects like traveling and managing yourself and your family, but you're there in the house. But at the same time, hybrid setup, I think, will be going to be in existence in some time when we are back to normal.
Absolutely. In fact, there was another question on the panel on the voting thing, which was about, will it affect the way we hire? I think that was a question there, right? So, of course, from a industry perspective, I completely agree with Chiranjeevi and Nitin that Neetu, that uh, it will be a hybrid model which is going to stay for a long time and will also help us prepare in case of future exigencies. And but if, like, coincidentally, like yesterday we had a session with a couple of our people who have joined last year. We do our 3 months, 6 months, 12 months check-in and all. And what at least I found was, these people, what they are missing is a quick transition, because ours is a product industry. People need to understand the product to deliver. So that's something which they miss in the first few months of actually working on a live product, and they're learning, uh, which was little slow compared to the others, but that was on the knowledge part of it. But what they miss is the team part of it, the team bonding, how you engage. I'm not talking about just the fun element, but when you work and develop a software, you actually sit in a room, brainstorm, bring in your ideas, throw away ideas, and that's how the creativity, the innovation builds in, right? And so that's what was a live feedback which we got from a lot of people who are staying or working from various remote locations. The second part, which all of you have covered, is around hybrid. That's going to stay. That's going to be one of the USPs for hiring, I think. And we are seeing today, right? When we go for interviewing, people do ask whether you will allow us to work remotely or not. So that's a very new question which is coming in, and we are still trying to figure out answers, because ours is an R&D world where complete remote working doesn't work. But let's see how it spans out. It's here to stay.
Okay, moving to questions. There is a question from Syed Asad Ahmed relevant to the second topic that we discussed. How freshers become experienced if all need experienced candidate? So, anything our panelists would like to say to
Yeah,
Syed?
I would like to attempt that. While answering that, I did pick up this point. Very valid question, and I give kudos to this question. So, but the thing is this, that when you are hiring people, definitely you need a mix. We all agree that you need a team who need to guide, and you need a team who need to learn. That's how you become a team, and you produce more. As a more outcomes. But coming back to the question, the question is how I become experienced. So even an experienced person, they need to apply their learnings in certain way, create an exposure around it, and then that becomes an experience. The situations we all are in right now, especially HR folks, we never had this kind of a thing. How we are going to manage hybrid, how we are going to manage work from home, the pandemic situations where insurance sector is becoming so skeptical right now about giving insurance and term policies also. So we all had come out ways, did the brainstorm and all of it. So coming back to again, how a fresher will, become an experienced one by picking up various opportunities, by picking up the exposure around in the industry, by picking up various certifications, which is important for you, make yourself employable in a way. Then that that becomes the need of the organization. Versus you're getting placed directly from the campus, where anyways organization's going to plan few weeks of training program, and then you're on your own. Please add further.
If you see, actually, if you look at the industry data, we always go to the IT example because that's where the spotlight is. You see the amount of people who are being hired fresh. I don't know, Sayed, which educational background you are from, but the huge number of hirings have increased, especially in the experience domain. Um, Capgemini hiring 25,000 plus, HCL hiring 15,000 plus, so on and so forth. So we see a lot of experience set which
Freshers.
is required. Yeah, sorry, a lot of freshers who are required by the industry. And one of the reasons we discussed was also skills. This industry requires quick upskilling, and we see the young guys really learning and become these technologies and adapting. So, I mean, maybe right now because of the pandemic, there might have been a decline, but at least in 21, I have not seen that in the uh, Indian industry.
So much so that we have converted our so many experienced jobs into freshers job because of the scarcity. I am from IT, so certainly we'll talk more about IT. So wherein there are certain developers, there are some implementation engineers. So there is a scarcity. You are not finding the people, and you need them for the business. So certainly, one aspect is organization hiring freshers. Second is you become employable in certain sense. You take the exposure, so many things around, and then apply or do some freelancing. I mean, picking up things, understanding, and partnering somewhere and getting into a different, like Upwork kind. There are different kind of models in place these days. Yeah.
So, there is another question. Would corporate adapt to 4 days working with work from home? So, question from first topic that we discussed.
I know this would come, but I'm very hopeful, but not in the coming years for sure, guys. There's long way to go. The way things are industry is moving. So I think it might take a quite longer than the rest of the world, which we have. So you still need to have patience to that, unless until there is new business partner or you start your own business and you come up with your own thought and say, all right, I'm going to give 4 days, you will surely come in the news and definitely everyone will say, we can do that as well. But for now, for the biggies, IT or the menu, most of the organization and industry, it's still a long way to go for us.
The simple answer is no.
No, I'm very hopeful. I never say no.
For now it is.
Yeah, for now it is, yes.
So, we will choose to have a hope of this. Any closing remarks from any of the panelists on today's discussion? Any topic that we discussed from all the speakers?
One point I would like to make, especially on the mystery topic which we got about will remote working increase productivity. So I thought, this could be for Shine and Vasundhara to take up in their next discussion, where should we really encourage remote working where all-time availability of employees is taken for granted, where I can call anybody at any time and then say expect. So that is something which you can take up for later discussion, but that is the closing thought I have. So whether
Definitely.
remote working is something which should be encouraged, because that will lead to something else.
Absolutely. A good point.
So I would vote for office. Yeah, that way.
Yes, sorry, and good point. I think what you brought in, and even building that kind of culture, or the managers of yours, right? What are we building those managers who know or define those cultures within themselves, or they expect that they can not be called after 7 or 8 o'clock, but they can call their employee in the middle of night. Yeah,
that's not happening.
So yeah, so that's a way.
So we know, right? We are going on vacation and then we are taking calls. So that is probably you're carrying your laptops also, right?
I started now, so that's why I'm saying this is wrong. We are doing wrong, so we need to change first. So I think it is an interesting one to read topic. But Vasundhara, thank you so much for giving this opportunity. It's a pleasure indeed to even meet the panelists. Really nice. Thank you.
Same here. It was very interesting interacting with all of you. My last part would be, of course, be the flexibility. I think has emerged as the new in word. I mean, of course, flexibility was always important, but last year we were so happy that our lives have completely become flexible. But has that actually happened? And I'm on my laptop right from 9 a.m. in the morning, and it goes on. So, and it's true for everybody. I'm no exception here, right? There are calls because there's no 6 o'clock wind up and drive down, face the traffic, and you're back in home. So we need to look at being actually flexible, defining work boundaries, respecting that there are people who have to go back and manage work situations, and that's a fact. And I'm not talking about a female or a male here. All of us have a personal life, and we need to respect that boundary. So flexibility and defining what is flexibility, I think that's something which I would leave it as the last remark from my side.
Sure. Okay, just adding customary the concluding remarks from my side as well. Again, it was very, it was an interesting conversation with all of you, and felt a very different day while chatting with all of you and answering the questions from attendees. Adding just one more aspect to what Surabhi just mentioned is, adding flexibility. So I had been managing a personal calendar and official calendar. So these days I've started merging the two by saying this is my lunch hour, this is my break hour, and like that, and same flexibility is given to the team. So there are certain core hours where people are working, and there are some flexible hours where team is working. So I think I'll encourage everybody whoso is listening this conversation, have your calendars managed and say, this is my personal time. Otherwise, we'll just keep answering the calls and stuff and then feel like, where am I, living my own life? So keeping a balance is good. Yeah.
Nice, Neetu. And we need to learn to say no. And we need to tell our team also that they need to learn to say no. sometimes it is required, because you get so obliged because a leader or a manager or anybody is calling, you're so worrying to say even no to them. So I keep pushing my team. I said, why not? Just pick up the phone. If they're pinning you at this hour, just say, I'm sorry, I will not be able to do at this time. Good point again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, on behalf of Shine.com, I would like to thank our panelists today. Thanks everyone for being a wonderful audience and making the session so much interactive. The recording of the webinar will be shared with all the attendees and speakers along with the feedback mail. Would request you to please share your feedback to make us more better. Thanks everyone. This is Vasundhara signing off now.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Have a
Vasundhara.
nice Friday. Have a nice weekend,
Bye-bye.
guys. Take care. Bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.